And I say that in the nicest way because many of us are. Do you know why you're afraid of governments? You have something to lose. You have a house, you have financial security, you have a job, you live in a country that has not yet descended into complete chaos, although sometimes if you look outside it looks like that. Ask a Venezuelan if they're afraid of government. Are they afraid of government because it's about to ban Bitcoin? No, they're afraid of government for all of the other reasons, and therefore they don't give a shit if government says banning Bitcoin or you get shot in the street. Or like, as opposed to what? You were shooting at us in the street yesterday anyway. So what you're saying is now we can have Bitcoin while you're shooting at us? That sounds like better than not having Bitcoin while you're shooting at us. Right? So if you're a refugee and you're trying to cross, and someone wants 10,000 euros to put you on a boat to bring you to one of the Greek islands, and you're like, but Bitcoin is now illegal in Greece. Do you give a shit? Everything about what you're doing is illegal, right? And everything about what you're doing is just and moral and proper and the only way to save your children. Fuck yeah, you're going to do it. So, can they scare the comfortable middle class? Yes. Fortunately, in the world, the comfortable middle class is getting smaller and smaller because they've already scared the shit out of us, giving all of our freedoms away. And there's more and more pissed off people who have nothing to lose and will fight to the death because that's the only option they have. And they can never scare those people. If Bitcoin is only allowed for criminals, then criminals will be the freest people on the planet. And then you have to decide if you want to be with the criminals and be free, or you want to be legal and a slave. I mean, that's the bottom line in every totalitarian government. What you're talking about is a totalitarian attitude. If your government says you can't use any currency but our own, what does that say about the currency? More importantly, what does that say about your government? At that point, you're like, oh dear, time to get a second passport and a lot of Bitcoin. That's the moment when you say, now I really need Bitcoin because my government just went rogue. Who knows what they're going to do next? They can scare the middle class, but they can mostly scare the ones who are most comfortable. There's always a section of society that never was comfortable, that always was afraid. And now they have the choice of being afraid, but a bit more free and powerful because they have something to give them an exit, an option to exit. Let's hope that never happens. But if it does, pay close attention to what it says about your government. Not good things. And also the funny thing is, in countries where the government can do that easily, nobody cares about the law anyway, right? When I grew up in Greece, I remember in my neighborhood there was one street and it had a sign with a speed limit of 5. Now, for those who are not Greek or European, that's not miles per hour, that's kilometers per hour. Now, with a manual car, if you want to go 5 kilometers per hour, you have to ride the clutch like you're parking, and very carefully. I mean, it takes skill. They train people when they're driving in parades, right, how to do this. If you're on a motorcycle, like, you have to be really skilled to do that. 5 kilometers an hour on a motorcycle is bloody difficult. So that's the law. It was there. Did that increase respect for the law? No. Did it increase compliance with the law? No. It taught everyone that the law is stupid, so you should probably break some stupid laws. And if you start in your country with that attitude, you start with, well, that's a stupid law. Well, now that I think of it, so is that one, and that one, and that one, and that one, and that one. And before a while, you notice that a lot of the laws that they're making you follow are stupid laws. And also that the people who pass these laws are not following them. Who's going to be the first one to drive down that street at 50 kilometers an hour? Who's going to be the first? Two assholes that say Vias on the back and are driving down the street at 50 kilometers an hour because they're cops and they're above the law. Or some guys in an ambulance trying to get to their next frappe. And you know that happens. You know that happens, especially in this country. So what is the level of respect for the law? Because you know that everybody in power is already violating all of the laws. So why should you follow it? In countries where the law is serious and respected, they won't do arbitrary and stupid things like saying you don't have the freedom to use a currency. And if they do, what they're telling you is, hey, by the way, the law just became not serious and not respected. So pay attention to that. It's a good lesson.